welcome back to my food channel, or welcome to my food channel if you're new here. My name's Ashley, and on this channel we eat, we cook, we just enjoy good food. I'm actually about to make dinner, so I thought that I would show you all what I'm making. It's one of my favorite meals recently to cook. I don't cook a lot, I'm not great at cooking, but this is one of the meals that I have been loving recently, so I thought that I would share it with you all. What we're gonna be making today is chicken with rosemary and lemon and garlic and pepper and all that good stuff. And we're also gonna be making teriyaki noodles, which are delicious. So let's get started. First I have to wash my hands, hold on. Okay, now that the hands are clean, let's get everything set up that we need. These are the two pots that I prefer to use, this big round one for the chicken and this little round one for the noodles. You need a cutting board. So what we're gonna be using for this meal is chicken. I just went and got this from Whole Foods. These are just like breasts or cutlets, I'm not entirely sure. We got 3 of them for 2 people, but I think it's gonna be too much, so I don't think we're gonna end up using all of them today. We're also gonna need udon noodles. I have 2 packs of udon noodles right here. For the chicken, we're gonna need olive oil, salt, rosemary, black pepper, and a lemon, and also garlic. And for the teriyaki noodles, we are going to need the other half of the lemon, garlic, soy sauce, butter, and teriyaki sauce. I think this is actually for like chicken and stuff, but I love this on the noodles because it's super thick and delicious. So first we're gonna cut the chicken into little pieces. You don't really need to do this. I just prefer to do it because I have this fear of undercooking chicken and getting everyone really sick. So it's a lot easier to cook when it's in little pieces, obviously. Okay, so normally we would use chicken breasts, but they didn't have any available. So we just got these chicken breast cutlets. I'm not sure if it's gonna be any different, hopefully not. But I'm using 2 of the 3 that we got because this looks like it's gonna be a lot. So I'm gonna start cutting it into little chunks. So we personally don't really like the fat on the chicken, so I'm cutting it off, but you can totally leave it on if you're into that. So now that we have our chicken cut into little pieces, we're gonna go ahead and put some olive oil on the pan. And we're just gonna move it around so that it covers a lot of the pan. I also went ahead and already put water in this pan, but I'm not doing anything with it yet. It's just ready for when I wanna put the noodles in. And we're gonna go ahead and drop the pieces of chicken onto the pan with the olive oil. So I get scared cooking with oil, so something that I found that helps it stop like coming up and burning you is to put the oil and the chicken in before you turn the stove on. I'm sure I'm not the first person to come up with that, but yeah, that's a trick that I found that I didn't know before. So we're gonna go ahead and turn the stove on a little bit past medium and spread that oil around while it's heating up. So it's starting to get warm. I also turned this, the water on so that it can start boiling, so that hopefully our chicken and our noodles are done around the same time. So to start for the chicken, I'm gonna add some salt, and some pepper. And then I'm just gonna stir that around so it can evenly coat the other pieces of chicken and also hopefully the other side of the chicken. And you can see some of the pieces are already starting to cook. Okay, so the chicken and the oil and all of that is starting to sizzle, so we're gonna add in half a lemon. And then we're also gonna add in some of this pureed garlic. I love this stuff so much. So I added in about 1.5 teaspoons. I don't really measure things though, so I'm not 100% sure. So I'm gonna mix this around so that it can evenly coat all of the chicken pieces. And finally, we're gonna throw on some rosemary. So I just take the lid off and throw some of it on there. This gives it a lot of flavor and it also makes it taste super healthy. I mean, it is pretty healthy, but the rosemary definitely makes it taste flavorful but healthy. And then mix it up again. So we're gonna turn that down to about half heat and we're gonna let that sit for a little bit because our water for our noodles is starting to boil. So we're gonna come over here and we're gonna take the 2 bunches of udon noodles and drop those in there. And we're also gonna turn the heat down to halfway so that we don't boil over the noodles. So while the noodles are cooking, I'm just gonna occasionally mix the chicken and flip some of the pieces over so that they can cook evenly on each side. I pretty much just go based on smell. I smell if it needs anything added to it. It smells like it might need a little bit more pepper. But other than that, I think the proportions are pretty good. I'm also going to occasionally stir the noodles so that they don't stick to each other or the pan. And I like to check if it's done or pretty close to done cooking by taking a thicker piece like this one and just taking my spatula and kind of chopping it in half wherever I can, or chopping a piece off and seeing if it's still pink in the middle. It's pretty white, but just in case it's not cooked enough, I'm gonna cook it a little bit longer. Honestly, I would rather have less juicy chicken than salmonella. And the lemon juice that it's like cooking in, it gives it a lot of juiciness. Okay, so these thick pieces of chicken are starting to look pretty cooked. They look good. So they're pretty much done. I'm just gonna turn the heat down and let them sit while I work on the noodles. I like the udon noodles to be a little bit more overcooked because I feel like it helps the like teriyaki sauce and the flavor just like stick to it more, if that makes sense. So the noodles are done. Now we're gonna drain them. And I always keep a couple noodles off to the side for my dog noodle. So I left the noodles in the sink for a minute. The chicken is pretty much done. I'm gonna take it off. By letting it sit on the low heat, I let it like soak up all of that lemon juice, and it also kind of turned it into like a glaze, which just adds more flavor to the chicken. And now before I start the noodles, I'm just gonna separate the chicken into 2 bowls for me and my boyfriend. I'm gonna leave those off to the side and go back to the noodles. I'm gonna take some of that same olive oil that we used for the chicken and put just a little bit on the pan, just enough to coat it so that the noodles don't stick to the pan. And again, we're gonna mix it around to coat the pan. So our pan is all oiled up. We're gonna take the noodles, put it back in the pan, and then we're gonna turn it on to almost medium heat. So I'm gonna take some of this is vegan butter. You can just use regular butter if you don't wanna use vegan butter. Now I'm putting that on there. So with this, I'm making my own kind of garlic butter. So I'm taking the vegan butter, some garlic, taking a big scoop of that, maybe add a little bit more, and then a little bit of soy sauce. This is low sodium, but you can use regular sodium, obviously. And then we're gonna start mixing that. I'm gonna take the teriyaki sauce. Again, I don't measure things, I just put as much as what looks good. So that looks like it'll be enough. Teriyaki sauce is just personal preference. If you want it really teriyaki flavored, obviously you can put more. If you just want it lightly coated, then you can put less. So now that that's evenly spread among the noodles, we're gonna take that other half of the lemon and we're just going to squeeze as much as we can on there. That will take away from the sweetness of the teriyaki sauce and give it like a nice kind of tangy, citrusy flavor while also still being really sweet from the teriyaki sauce. And that's it for the teriyaki noodles. So now I'm gonna separate them in 2 bowls for my boyfriend and myself. This is usually a pretty messy process. It gets all over the side of the bowl. Okay, so now we are going to taste it. I'm sure it came out great, but we're going to make sure. So the noodles, really good. For my preference, I could have put a little bit more teriyaki sauce. Still really good. For the chicken, chicken's good. I think I put a little bit too much rosemary, but other than that, really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish my delicious dinner. I hope you all liked this video, liked this recipe. Hopefully you all try it out for yourselves. If you do, let me know down below how you liked it. Give me a thumbs up to let me know that you liked this video, or if you just like my cooking videos in general. I know this is my first one, but hopefully you liked it. And go ahead and subscribe down below to see more cooking videos and just more eating videos in general, rating food, all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, so I'm hungry. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.